Okay, currently, if we look at our database of the CMS, you can see that our password is just stored as a text. That's the less secure way of doing things. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to encrypt our password using SHA-1 hash encryption. Now, what we're going to be doing first is we need to increase the number of characters allowed in this field. So if we click on this pencil here against the password, and let's make it 50 to make sure there's enough room for the password to be entered. If we edit our record password, if you want to encrypt the password with SHA-1 inside of the MySQL phpMyAdmin, you simply can choose it actually from the function drop-down menu and choose SHA-1. Now click on Go and your password is automatically encrypted. Okay, now if we go back to our editor, open our login.php file, and what we're going to do first, we're going to do a little bit of a cleanup. Let's remove this code here, which isn't necessary here at all. Then from the action as well, this variable. Now, next thing we're going to be doing, we keep our ifset frm username variable. But what we're going to do here is, rather than login username, we simply rename it to username. And our password, we will use SHA-1 function to encrypt it. And now authorization, login success, failed. We're going to remove this authorization here, but we're going to rename this variable, which is some kind of strange string of characters, to simply success. And this one will be failed. Now, if login success, we want to redirect them to mod equals 1 and p equals pages list. Otherwise, we want to redirect them to p equals login failed. We're not using any mod here because it's just a page. None of the menu items have to be selected for this. So login failed. Referrer, we just remove. That's not very important. This is actually what this was doing. Whenever you click on any button, if you weren't logged in, it would just take you to the same page. But we want all of them to go directly to pages list every time they logged in. Okay, now our login rs query, let's just simply rename it to SQL equals. We want to select as well ADM ID, which is administrator ID, from table admins. Let's just tidy up this slightly as well. The statement where username admin username equals and admin password. That's all fine. Our admin username will now, our variable is now username, and a password variable stays the same. So that's all fine. Now, if we rename this login rs to result equals MySQL query, simple SQL here is going to do, and found user, if we simply type total for result. And before that, if we also create the rows variable and assign MySQL fetch a sock to it, passing the result variable to this function. Now we can check if total is more than 0. So if there is record, the record has been found. Then we create a new session. We don't need this here. We don't need this comment either. Let's create a session called user ID, and we will assign the rows ADM ID, which is the ID of the specific record. Now let's remove all these remaining bits. Okay, we've got this if total is more than 0, then else we will display the error message or redirect them to the error page in this case. Okay, let's do the indents. Okay, now to redirect the user depending on whether the user has been found or not, rather than using header, obviously we've got already function created inside of our functions.php files, you may remember, which is called redirect. And this is what we're going to be using here as well. And where do we want to redirect them? If it's successful, then success. If we copy this whole thing, otherwise, let's redirect them to failed. Okay, so we can now test it in the browser. If we log out, click on login, submit, we would be going to our list of pages. As you can see, it passed the URL parameter properly, but obviously this page doesn't allow us to see anything because we still have our user authentication code is still using the old session variables. So this is something we will be dealing with in the next video.